Hello everybody and welcome back for some more The Elder Scrolls Legends card reviews. Here we are continuing on with intelligence attribute, and let's get right to it. We have first 1 cost Ghost Gate Defender, 1/3 guard with Exalt, deal 2 damage to a creature. Exalt 3, by the way. So if you pay 4 for this card instead of 1, you can deal 2 damage to another creature, or this is just going to be a guard card with 1 cost, 1/3 attributes. For its cost and looking at its cost and its 1/3 power and health, this is a pretty good card, especially with the guard ability. And if you want to exalt it to use it as a removal card, you can do it as well. So this is actually a good card in my opinion, and you don't have to use the exalt thing, but you can use the exalt ability to remove a card if it's necessary. Even if you don't use the exalt ability, this card is pretty okay as a 1 cost 1/3 guard. And I think this card can see play in in many situations. Let's put it that way. I like this card. Yeah, this card is a good card, definitely above average and bordering on good. So next we have 6th House Amulet, an item that gives +1/+1 to the creature that wields it, and summon if the wielder has 5 or more power. It gains ward. So this card encourages you to play with high power creatures, and for 1 cost, giving a creature ward and +1/+1 is pretty good. Is it amazing? Will this card see play in a lot of deck? I mean, I don't think so. It's not a bad card by any stretch. It's above average, but I don't see this seeing much play, because you can play better cards instead of this. Main reason being it doesn't give ward to all cards, just gives ward to 5 power or more. And if it gave ward in all cases, then this card would be pretty amazing. In its current situation, it's just above average, and it will see play, just not very much, I think. Next we have Barilzar's Tinkering, 2 cost action with Betray. If you do not know what Betray is, it's a mechanic that enables you to play an action a second time by sacrificing one of your creatures on board. It transforms a creature into a random creature that costs 1 more. Really interesting card. I really like this concept, which means you can just transform a creature into another creature, right? After it attacking and doing everything it needs to do. And if you don't like the creature it turns into, you can sacrifice that creature, or maybe it even becomes a creature with a last gasp, making sacrificing it even better. But that's besides the case. If you don't like the creature that it turns into, you can just sacrifice that creature and turn another creature into a better creature, which gives you another chance at rolling the dice and getting a creature that you like. I really like this action. I can see this action being used, and especially probably as many Betray cards would be, it will be used in last gasp decks. I like this card. I would like to make a deck with this card, and maybe cards like Balmora Spymaster and such, like a transform deck basically. let's move on to the next card, Falling Wizard, 2 cost 5/5. Falling Wizard deals 5 damage to himself on summon. Last gasp, put an experimental scroll into your hand. Now, this card is, the main usage of this card is to put an experimental scroll into your hand, but you can still keep this card on board with the purple card that gives wards to the creatures that you play on the same lane as it is. And a 2 cost 5/5 on board would be pretty insane. I'm not sure about the name of that card, but I can see this card being played with it, and I would actually make a deck with that. It would be pretty amazing, I think. Yeah, this card is okay, not bad, but will it see a lot of play in blue decks? No. It can specifically see play in sorcerer decks because of the reason that I just came out with. It will be played with that card that gives ward to the creatures you play in the same lane, and just have a 2 cost 5/5 on board, which is pretty insane. It's an interesting card. It's a meme card basically, and you know I like meme cards, guys. You know that. if you ever watched any of my videos, any of them, literally, whatever, you know, many of my decks are meme decks. Anyway, Mage's Guild Recruit, 2 cost 1/2, summon, reduce the cost of an action in your hand by 2. It's pretty great, right? This basically means that you get to play a free 1/2 body on board. Is it amazing? No, but reducing the cost of an action by 2 can be really useful. For example, imagine like reducing the cost of an ice storm from the turn 2 that you may later use on a dire situation, or maybe reducing the cost of Dawn's Wrath or stuff like that, or maybe even a lightning bolt. This card is pretty good. I can see it seeing play in many blue decks, just like the Thieves Guild Recruit sees play in almost every single green deck. I can see this card seeing play in every single blue deck, but we'll see. I like this card. Next we have Poetic Armiger or Armiger, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. 2 cost 2/3, exalt by 1, gain a random keyword. This card isn't good. 2 cost 2/3 stats are just okay, and for 3 cost, giving this a random keyword, which would probably be useless, like, I don't know, regenerate or breakthrough basically means nothing on this card, because 3 cost regenerate, who cares, and 3 health regenerate, who cares, and 2 power breakthrough, again, who cares, right? Even Rain isn't that good because it's not like it's going to attack immediately. Guard can be useful. Ward, maybe. I don't think this card will see many play outside of potential Exalt decks, but even then, I'm not sure how this card would fit. You know, you can play better 2 cost cards, basically. I don't like this card, really. Next, we have Seidanin Courier, whatever. 2 cost 0/1, summon, equip a +3/+0 steel sword to a friendly creature. This card is basically a steel sword, right? That's about it. And sure, it produces a body on board that you can sacrifice for betray cards and such, which could be useful. Yeah, I like that concept. And a steel sword, meh. This is an interesting card, really. Yeah, I can see this seeing play in in decks that have a lot of betray cards that people play, and this can be a potential target for the betray abilities. It is going to be interesting to see this card, how this card fits on the meta. Yeah, I like the fact that it can be used with betray abilities, but other than that, it's just a steel sword basically. So next we have Temple Conjurer, a dark elf. We have a lot of dark elves. No shit, Adigeko. This is the Houses of Morrowind expansion. Morrowind is the homeland of... Okay, sure. Let's not get into the lore, okay? We are just reviewing cards here. Temple Conjurer, 2 cost 2/2, summon... Exalt 4, summon a 5/3 Flame Atronach with Breakthrough. Excuse me. Now, 6 cost 2/2 that summons a Flame Atronach seems to me like pretty useless. I'm sorry, it just is. Why, Adigeko? Because we have another Conjurer for 6 cost that summons a 5/5 goddamn Guard Frost Atronach, and it is definitely much better than this. I mean, you can argue that you can play this card without Exalt, but 2 cost 2/2 is just straight up bad as stats to cost value, you know. And you cannot even blink this card if you need to. You can resummon the other Conjurer to summon the Frost Atronach twice, 3 times, 4 times, however many times you need. But when you blink this card, it doesn't summon the Flame Atronach for you, and Flame Atronach will not have an immediate benefit on board either. So I don't like this card. If you're not playing an Atronach deck, I don't think you should play this card at all. I don't think this card will see much play either, even in Exalt decks, because I mean 2 power and 2 health. Let's move on to the Burning Touch. It's an action 3 cost prophecy, deal 2 damage to a creature. Maybe in prophecy decks it could be used. In well, you know, other than that, I do not see how this is better than a Firebolt. I would rather use Firebolts than this. Will this card see play outside of prophecy decks? I don't think so. Is it a bad card? Yeah, it's pretty bad. If it was 2 cost, it would be salvageable, I think, but at 3 cost, I don't think this card is playable. Even maybe in prophecy decks. I don't know. Next, we have Clockwork City Pilgrim, 3 cost, 3/3 high elf, not a dark elf, with Guard and Exalt 3+2+2. So either a 3 cost 3/3 Guard or a 6 cost 5/5 Guard. In either case, it's not very good, but 3 cost 3/3 is actually better than 6 cost 5/5 in my opinion. And if you're not playing an Exalt deck, you can play better cards than this, but you should definitely play this card in Exalt decks, is what I'm going to say to you. Let's move on. Will that card see play in Exalt decks? other than that, I don't think so. We have Enamor's Keeper, 3 cost, 4-3, sorry. Exalt 5, equip a +5/+0 heirloom greatsword to Enamor's Keeper. So you can equip this card with an heirloom greatsword for 1 cost less. This card is pretty good. If nothing else, it will give you an heirloom greatsword that you can use whenever you need to. And 3 cost 4-3 is not bad stats at all. Even on its own, it's not horrible. If you added an heirloom greatsword, it becomes even better. But 8 cost 9-3, is it that good? If it wasn't for the effect of the heirloom greatsword, I wouldn't say that this card is really good. But with the effect of heirloom greatsword, yeah, this card is good. Will it see play in every single blue deck? No, definitely not. It's probably not gonna see much play just because it is so expensive to activate the heirloom greatsword effect. But it's still a good card. It can see play in control blue, I think, as a way to pressure your opponent with damage. Other than that, I don't see it seeing many play, but I like the concept of this card. Next we have Vigilant Ancestor, a 3 cost 5-4, great stats for its cost, but I guess this is the, cost you pay. It's a guard that is permanently shackled. So you are going to want to play this card with either silences or immune to shackle ability that comes from what's the name of that card? I cannot remember, but I think you know what I'm talking about. 3 cost 5-4, pretty great, and with the shackle immunity it would be even better. Yeah, I can see this seeing play in such decks, but other than that, not really. On its own, I don't think this card will see many play, but in conjunction with the shackle immunity, this card is pretty strong. Next we have Wild Clumsiness, a 3 cost action with Betray ability. Shackle a random enemy creature in each lane. So this shackles 2 creatures at least. I mean, potentially, let's say, if your opponent has a creature in each lane, and you can sacrifice a creature to shackle 2 more creatures of your opponent. Is this good? Sure. I like this card. I can see this play, especially, as I said, in Last Gasp decks. But other than that, will it see play? Sure, I'd play this card. It can be a good card to use in shackle decks, for example. And other than that, it is an overall nice control card. I really expect this card to see some play. So next we have Hatchery Meddler, 4 cost 5-3, good stats. Summon, swap a creature's power and health. This can be really, really interesting and useful, I think, because we have so many guards that have really low power but high health, and swapping those, for example, can be really strong in some situations. This is going to be an interesting card. I cannot see where this would go exactly, but I can definitely say this card will see some use, at least in the first few weeks of this new meta. I don't know if people would decide that this card is just not worth its trouble, but this is an interesting card that will definitely see some play, even if it is just to try it out. And yeah, pretty much I like it. It's a nice card. Next we have Tribunal Oathman. We have Oathmans now, I understand that. It is a 4-cost 3/3 with summon ability. If you have a willpower card in play, you gain 4 health. If you have a what is it? Endurance card in play, you gain 1 maximum magicka. More maximum magicka. I don't think the scout haters will like this, but this means you can gain extra magicka, more extra magicka with sorcerer as well, and this is actually pretty good. Unlike Dagoth Oathman that just gains stats, you can actually play this card in conjunction with just one color. Like, if you play this just with willpower cards, it is still viable. If you play this just with endurance cards, it is still viable. This card is pretty nice if you are playing Tribunal House, or if you're playing Sorcerer, or maybe even Mage. This card is still useful to you. I like this card. This card has a lot of potential, and I expect this to see some play in the meta. Next we have Ash Piercer. Summon, deal 3 damage to a creature. If you have a creature with 5 power or more, 5 cost 3/4, not good stats, but the summon ability, I am noticing a trend here with the 5 power or more term here. So this expansion is focusing on strong cards, I'm assuming here, and it's probably because of the house enabling cards are strong cards usually. So when you play that and you play the 5 power or more cards, it is easier to activate them if you have them in your deck. And it's an interesting concept, but will it be great? Will it be good? I mean, this is not a bad card, but it is an average card, maybe even below average, I think, because you probably will not have 5 power or more creature on board, and you're gonna have to play that first and then play the Ash Piercer, which is like turn 9 or 10 depending on the situation. Of course, if you have already a 5 power or more creature, you can activate it, but if you cannot activate it, just playing this on its own is just so bad. It's incredibly bad, and you just do not want to do that in any circumstance, basically. And because of that, I don't think this card is that good, but I guess I may be wrong here. I don't think so, though. I don't expect to see this card very much, unless you are making an Ash creature deck, which is just ridiculous at this point. I will definitely make one. Anyway, next we have another unique legendary 5 cost 3/8 Threna. After you play an action, shuffle 3 0-cost copies of that action into your deck. This is really, really interesting. Oh my god, this card is so great. I can see this card being played especially in prophecy decks. It would be just amazing. Imagine shuffling 0-cost lightning bolts into your fucking deck. This card is great. I can see this card seeing play in a lot of decks. I'm not even kidding with you. This may become a staple in blue decks. This card is just that good. I might even just summon one right now. This card is amazing. Alright, I really like this card. I will definitely use this card. This card is amazing, man. Threna, I love it. Next we have Genius Pathmage, a legendary 6-cost 4/4 with the summon ability. Summon a random creature from your deck with cost equal to your current magicka. That is pretty amazing. So this card is just a free summon. You play this and it summons a 6-cost creature at least, because you need to have 6 magicka, right? Oh, no. It is your current magicka, not current max magicka. Excuse me. So, yeah, isn't as OP as it seemed to me at first, but it is still pretty good. Will it see a lot of play? I don't think so. Just because, I mean, what are you going to do with a 1-cost, 2-cost, 3-cost creature, even if you do play this? Maybe in like turn 12, you play a Genius Pathmage, it summons another Genius Pathmage, it summons another Genius Pathmage, it summons another 6-cost card, which could be pretty insane chain reactions going on. Or you can just put Genius Pathmages and no other 6-cost cards, in which case it would just summon Genius Pathmages, but it would just limit the ability. But it would be an interesting thing to see happen in the turn 12. Other than that, is this card bad? No, it's not bad, but it is just, out of the box, I think. Will it see play? It might, definitely might see play, but I don't expect it to see play. I don't know. Next we have Lame Corpus, pretty lame card. Just like its name, it's 6-cost 5/6. Why would you play this? Why? I mean, it's just bad. Let's move on. Next we have Telvos Magister, a dark elf again, 6-cost 5/4 with ward. At the end of your turn you gain a ward. So does this mean that this card gains a ward, or a random creature gains a ward? Because it just says you gain a ward. Does that mean me as the player gain a ward? So when my opponent hits my face, I don't get damaged. That would be very interesting. I do not really understand this card. I need to see this in play. So I am not going to make assumptions, but even without the rest of this ability, 6/5/4, 6-cost 5/4 is pretty good with the ward. And with the ability, it seems even more interesting. I would like to see this in play and understand what this exactly does. And if it does give your face a ward, it's amazing. It is a really nice card as well. Really niche concept. I like it. Next we have Mighty Conjuring, 7-cost action. Summon a random Atronak. If you have a creature with 5 power or more, summon a Lava Atronak instead. Again with the 5 power or more. And I like this card. You can summon Lava Atronaks, and we all know how strong Lava Atronaks are. And summoning a random Atronak might even be worse for your opponent if you happen to summon an Iron Atronak, which is not a small possibility, right? Or maybe even a Flash Atronak could be pretty bad for your opponent. So that is, we have Frost, we have Flame, we have Lava Atronak, we have what else? Yeah, we have Storm Atronak, which is also pretty strong. And then we have the Iron Atronak and Flash Atronak, which makes a 33.3, repeating of course, chance to summon an Iron or a Flash Atronak which I think is pretty insane, man. I like this card. I would like to play this if it wasn't a legendary. It's a nice card. Next we have Spirit Knife. A 7 cost, deal 7 damage to a creature and then draw a card. This card is amazing. It's an amazing how do I put this? It's an amazing removal. It's an amazing card to replenish your deck as well. And if you happen to play this with like something like excuse me, something like the Ancano, it becomes even better. I can see this card seeing a lot of play. It is beautiful. It is definitely beautiful. Would it take the place of the Lightning Bolt? I don't think so, because it's too expensive, which is the only drawback of this card. Yeah, drawback, got it. But I really like this card. I expected to see play. Maybe not a lot of play, but yeah. Yeah, it will definitely see play. Next we have Traitor's Flames. We have used this in my puzzle video, if you watch this. It deals 2 damage to all enemy creatures in a lane, and it has the Betray ability, which allows you to play this card again. I think because of the Betray ability, this card is pretty great. Otherwise, for 7 cost, deal 2 damage to all enemy creatures in a lane would not be that good. But with the Betray ability that you may be able to trigger it twice, I like this card. Again, especially in Last Gasp decks, I can see this card seeing play. Not a lot of play, but definitely I can see this card being played in some decks. Next we have Threna's Lawman, 8 cost 5/5 with guard and ward. It is pretty straightforward. It is a defensive card. 8 cost is a lot, but with guard and ward it's kinda makes up for it. It's not that good of a card, because 8 cost with 5/5 is just bad, and it can be removed. As I said, it's especially with new removal cards, it's not that hard to remove this. I don't think this card will see play, but maybe in some guard decks and stuff like that it might. Is it a bad card? No, but it's below average, I think. And last but probably not the least, we have Sotasil, 9 cost 4/4 unique legendary with Exalt +4/+4. At the end of your turn, if you have an exalted creature in play, summon an awakened imperfect. So this means you can just exalt this into an 8/8 and just summon the awakened imperfect immediately. And that means this is a 12 cost 8/8 with that summons an 8/8 guard with breakthrough, which is pretty good still. And this card will definitely see play in all Exalt decks, especially because of this. Because this isn't, even though it is below the Exalt line, this is not the part of the Exalt ability. We have seen this in the puzzle video. If you watched this, watched that, and this card this effect will trigger even if this card itself is not exalted. So I can definitely see this card being played with Exalt, being played in Exalt decks, and it's a really strong card in my opinion. Maybe even in other decks that features some Exalt cards while not focusing directly on the Exalt abilities, this card should see play. It's a good card. And this concludes our review for the intelligence cards. of the Houses of Morrowind expansion. I hope you liked it. If you did, feel free to leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, you can check out my channel or subscribe for more future videos. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next video featuring willpower cards, hopefully. Have a nice one, everybody. Adigeko out.